What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my first proper video of the new season. We are just 3 days away now. That's it, 3 days. Just try and get by the next 3 days and we will have football back for the next 9 or 10 months, and we do it all over again. The roller coaster ride goes on, and we see what happens in every league of the world, the Champions League and everything. So I feel like everyone's ready for it now. It's come along, and pre-season's done basically for all teams. I can't really see anyone having a friendly this late on in pre-season, but yeah, it all seems all ready to go. But just before we get into the video, and as you can tell by the title, it is going to be my 2019-20 season table prediction for the championship. So all 24 teams, I would predict them. Some teams I'll go into depth about, some teams I'll just say they're there for I just think they're going to be in that position. And so yeah, so before we get into the video, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers as quick as possible, and it would mean the most to me for you to do that, whether you support Forest or Derby or Leeds, whoever you support. It doesn't really matter. It's a footballing channel. This is mainly Forest, obviously, but it is a footballing channel, and your team may well be on here in the coming future, or may have already been on this channel. So if you could subscribe to the channel, it would mean a lot to me. And yeah, it's free and everything. So just before we get into the video, if you just drop a subscription, that would be perfect. And obviously your opinions are going to be different to mine, maybe the same as mine, but this is just my opinion, so don't try and slate me in the comment section or anything like that. This is all due to me. This is my research. This is my opinion on every single team, where they will finish, transfer business, managers, players, teams, everything that goes on with the championship. And so yeah, let's get straight into it. I'll be predicting from the bottom to the top. Now, I've gone into my notes on my iPhone, and the predictions should be right on here, the side of the screen this time. So I've just popped them all up there. I'm not going to go right the bottom three, the top six and things like that. The whole table is there for you to see right on the left hand side of your screen. Yeah, on the left hand side of your screen. So take a look at them and we'll start discussing them straight away. Now, the teams I've predicted to go down, as you can see, are Barnsley, Charlton and Wigan. Barnsley got promoted automatically last year, finishing second behind Luton. They've let a few players go, not too many, but I just don't feel like they've strengthened as they could have done to stay up this year. Now, other teams who was around that area last year in the championship have added a few additions this year, which means they're obviously planning to just get stronger. It's as simple as that. And I just don't feel like Barnsley have done that with the signings they've made. And I just can't see them going to many places and getting points this year. They may do well at Oakwell because they have like the best record in the country in the minute for home games. Like, they've won so many in a row or something like that. It's some crazy stat that I've got to applaud Barnsley on, because that's amazing. So they may well do well at Oakwell this year, but I can't see them getting many points away from Oakwell. So that's why I've put them bottom of the table. Now, the other two teams I've predicted to go down are Charlton and Wigan. Obviously, Charlton came up with Barnsley, won the playoff final against Sunderland, and same as Barnsley really. I don't think Charlton's adapted to the championship with new signings or anything like that, so I can see them going down. But I think all three of these teams could stay up. It's just my opinion they will go down, but it would not surprise me if all three of the teams stay up and make their own cases for staying up, because they may go sign someone in the next so many days of the transfer window or something. And obviously we never know. It's the hardest league to predict what's going to happen this year. So I've gone Charlton and Barnsley to finish in the bottom two, and Wigan to join them in the bottom three, and all to be relegated to League One. Wigan losing Powell and Reece James obviously going back from his loan deal back to Chelsea. I just don't think they're ready for the championship. Now, is it Paul Cook, their manager? I think he's done well recently, keeping them in the championship, but I just can't see them doing much this year to stay up. Honest truth, I just can't see it. So yeah, there's my bottom three: Barnsley, Charlton, Wigan. Now let's talk about the teams from 21st to 17th. Now, these are the teams that I think have got the potential to go down if they have a slippy season and don't get the results I'm expecting them to get. And there's a few big clubs in there that if they go down, then it's going to be a shock, because I wouldn't expect them to go down. If they go down, I wouldn't be surprised, but I wouldn't like to see them go down because they are established championship clubs, some of these. So let's talk about Reading. They were very close to the drop last year with a new manager coming in. Obviously, he's had time to get to know his squad now, and I don't feel they've made enough additions to the team that they had last year, and last year struggled. So if the teams around them do good business and things like that, then they're in worrying positions, because the manager is quite a good manager. He had people sniffing around him at the end of last season, but I just don't think that squad of his is the most talented or anything like that. I would hate to see Reading go down, a proper respectable club at this level, and they don't deserve to go down. It's just I can see them scraping it. Like I said, anywhere from 21st to 17th, it could go in any range, any order. Reading could finish 17th and Preston could finish 21st. I don't know. I just can't see Preston finishing that low. So that's why I've gone for Reading down there in 21st, and then QPR finishing in 20th. They made a lot of additions and got an established championship manager with Mark Warburton, but last time when he was with us, Forest, that was his last managerial job, and he didn't do the greatest. So is he blown out now? Is he finished as a manager? Who knows? We'll get to see him in action with QPR. Obviously took over in the summer. He's made quite a few signings, like I said, and good additions to the squad as well. It's just I can't see them gelling very quickly, and we all know teams that don't gel quickly get beat, and whether he's got the right tactics to take QPR forward or not, I'm not sure. So that's why I've gone with them in 20th. Now, the League One winners last year, Luton Town, I put them 19th because I just feel like they're a good squad, and they've had the togetherness of last year, and the confidence of last year will boost them on to stay up this year. Now, they've made a few additions, nothing crazy, but you don't need to. If you've got a strong squad together, then they can take you places, because that's what I personally think that's what's going to happen. Luton will stay up this year, in my opinion. Whether it's in 21st position or 19th position, I've put them here, it doesn't matter. I can see Luton staying up and beating the drop. Now, the team I put above Luton is Millwall. They signed Matt Smith and got rid of their striker, what's his name, who went to Stoke. Lee Gregory, that's it. So they got rid of him in the summer to Stoke. He's going to be a big loss for him because he scored most of their goals, and bringing in Matt Smith from QPR, he fits Millwall style of play, but I just can't see them doing well this year. Maybe at home they'll be just the exact same Millwall. You go there, you know what you're going to expect, a hard, tough game, but I can see them being down there with the rest of them. It's my honest opinion. They're just losing Lee Gregory is going to be a big loss to them. So I've got Millwall in 18th. Now, Preston, team that are shocking me at the minute. They may not have even made one signing. I don't recall them making one signing. If they have, then they have. I've got that wrong. But last year, and for the past so many years, they've done very well in the Championship. Like, very, very well for it. I'm not disrespecting them, but they're not a massive club, are they, Preston? So they've done well. And the loss of Callum Robinson to Sheffield United earlier in the summer, I think that's going to hit on them hard, because they've not replaced him at all. And they've got Sean Maguire and Ben Pearson in holding midfield. They're going to be a talented squad this year, but I just can't see them breaking into that mid-table slot. I think they will be lower table with the rest of them, and pre-season's not gone the best, I don't think. So we'll wait and see. Preston could finish 12th for all I know. This whole table could be switched upside down. The Championship is so unpredictable, but this is, like I said, my prediction, so don't slate me if you're one of these fans and you think you're disagreeing with me. Just let me know in the comment section, but don't slate me. I'm just a regular football fan. 16th. Now we'll go from 16th to 12th, let's say. 16th, I've gone with Hull. Now, with links from Jared Bowen leaving the club in the summer and Grosicki and people like that, whether their heads are going to be turned and they're not going to be in the right frame of mind to take it out this season, I'm not sure. And they've just, at the end of last season, they sacked Nigel Adkins. I don't know why they did that. Totally, I don't know, this crazy decision by the hierarchy at the club. But I can't see Hull will just be a regular team this year. Nothing special, nothing bad. But I've got them to finish 16th. Now Birmingham, this is a big one because last season they were doing quite well and then got that point deduction took off them, 11 or 12 points or something, which dropped them right to the bottom of the table, and it forced Gary Monk to leave, and now they've lost Yotta and Che Adams. They're in a bad place at the minute because they've not really replaced them with anyone. They brought in Gardner on a permanent deal, but losing Che Adams, one of the league's top strikers, to Southampton, what a striker he was, and it was going to be hard to replace him if they did, and I don't think they have. They've just kept with Juchkovic up top, and losing Yotta to main rivals Aston Villa after they got promoted. Yotta was a very, very talented player at this level. He didn't really shine at Birmingham in his first few years. Last year he's shown it a bit, but nothing special. But he's still going to be a big loss for them. So with two players missing from Birmingham's team, I think they're going to be just a mid-table team. Sheffield Wednesday in 14th. Now this is the one that will throw me either way based on who they get in as manager, because we all know the situation behind the Bruce thing and everything got blown up into proportion. He left the club to go to Newcastle. They're waiting on money to be given for compensation, if they get any at all. But if they get a manager that's good level, obviously the favourite is Gary Rowett at the minute, I think, and then Chris Hughton second favourite with the bookies, then either one of them two will do well with that team because they've got a talented team. In my opinion, on paper they've got a very good team. It's just they've not had luck with managers lately. So if they do get one of Chris Hughton or Gary Rowett, I can see them pushing up higher than 14th, a lot higher than 14th. But at this point in time, they've only got Lee Bullen as their manager, who's obviously been at the club for years and years and years, club legend, but can't really see them doing much with him in charge. If they get a manager in, then like I said, they'll be pushing higher up this table. But at this point, I can only judge it on what's happening. Lee Bullen in charge, I can see them finishing 14th. Now 13th, I can see Swansea finishing there. Obviously the main man, Daniel James, went to Manchester United in the summer. Man U's first signing of the summer for 25 million or something like that. So they got a good deal out of it. And they done good last year, just an average mid-table team after coming down from the Premier League. And I think it's going to be the same again this year. They're just going to consolidate mid-table again. Nothing worrying them. I can't really see them upsetting many of the big teams either, especially with McBurney on the right close to leaving for Sheffield United. Whether they get that money in from McBurney and then spend it on another striker, because who are they going to replace McBurney with if he's leaving to go to Sheffield United? I'm not sure. The fee is meant to be around 17-18 million apparently, and as I'm recording this, he's on the verge of joining Sheffield United. So let's see what happens with that one and whether they replace him with the money they get back or not. But without him and Daniel James and Leroy Fer, whether they will do amazing, I can't see it at all. But they won't struggle in my opinion. They've got a solid team to be there in mid-table with the rest of them. Now 12th, I've gone Blackburn. Bradley Dack, Ben Brereton, Danny Graham. Good team. Nothing else to say. Tony Mowbray, one of the most known and better managers in the Football League. And they just today signed Tosin Adarabioyo, who was on loan at West Brom last year from Manchester City. And that's a good signing, to be fair. I think they're going to finish smack bang in the middle of the table, and they've got a good team. Bradley Dack's one of the best players in the league. Ben Brereton, one of the most potential strikers in the league, let's say, after leaving Forest. They've had an okay pre-season, Blackburn have. Whether they get off to the most amazing starts, I'm not sure. But I think they're just going to be smack bang 12th. And anywhere from 16th to 12th, I can see that all changing. Mid-table, I think all them teams will be happy with it. Now 11th, I've gone with Bristol City. Now this will shock a lot of people because people would have had them to be promoted and this and that because they're on the verge of making 2 deals, apparently, one with Casey Palmer after hijacking Swansea's deal for him, and another unknown player. But their defender Adam Webster apparently is on the verge of a £25 million move to the Premier League with Brighton. So if they get that money in, then they've got how many days before the transfer window shut? 6 or 7 to work with that money to bring in to strengthen that team. Now I don't know if they're going to do that. If they do, then they'll be higher up and pushing into the playoffs, in my opinion. But with the loss of Adam Webster, who are they going to replace him with, if anyone? Especially with 25 million coming in, that's a big bit of money to spend on someone in this league, especially. So whether they replace him or not, I'm not sure. If they do, then they'll be pushing the playoffs. If not in it, then. But if they don't, then I can see them, like I put 11th in the league. Now 10th, I've put Huddersfield dropping down from the Premier League. Can't see them really doing much this year. They've got a talented squad, but obviously not talented enough to stay in the Premier League. And with the teams getting better in the Championship season after season, just don't think they're the greatest. They could shock us. They could finish in the playoffs, but can't see it happening. They've got a good team, like I said, but whether they need to strengthen or anything in the last few days of this transfer window or even in January to push on to the playoffs, then that's up to them. But can't really see it, especially with a manager coming from Germany. I think he was Borussia Dortmund's old coach or under 23 coach, whatever he was. Can't really see him adapting to the Championship that well. He didn't adapt to the Premier League the best, and the Championship, in my opinion, is a harder league than the Premier League. So he's going to find it tough this year, but they're going to be a good team. It's as simple as that. Now 9th, I've gone with Derby. No criticism at all towards the rivals of the club I support. Obviously hate them and things like that, but not going to criticise them. Unlucky to lose Lampard. It was his dream job. As soon as they come knocking on the door, he was going to run. No matter what job he was in, he was going to run to Chelsea. And obviously losing Mason Mount going back to Chelsea, Wilson going back to Liverpool, Tomori going back to Chelsea. They've lost Bradley Johnson to Blackburn. So they're a few members light, and they've only signed Graham Shinney. But that was a Lampard signing, I think. So whether Philippe Cocu will put him into his team, I'm not sure. And Kieran Dow, who was on loan to Forest and Sheffield United in the last 2 years, needs to find his form a bit in confidence, because he is very much a confidence player. If his confidence is sky high, his performances are pretty good as well. But Derby haven't strengthened enough, in my opinion, with Graham Shinney and Dow, the only 2 players they're bringing in. There is talks about them signing other players, but whether that happens or not before now and the end of the transfer window, I'm not sure. Philippe Cocu, obviously not very known in management, especially in English football. So I think this year will be like a transition year for Derby, letting him get his players in, get his style of play across to them. And especially with them losing so many players this summer, obviously loanees and the manager and assistant manager, all the coaching staff. It's been a bit of a transition period this summer has for Derby. Now 8th in the league and just missing out on the playoffs, I've gone for Middlesbrough. First season under Jonathan Woodgate, obviously played at the club, highly regarded at the club, but sometimes that doesn't always work with old players going to manage their teams, because it just, I don't know why, it just doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Middlesbrough have got a good team in my opinion, and Sombalonga and them lot, but whether they're strong enough to make it into the top 6, we'll have to wait and see, especially under Woodgate with his first season. But yeah, I've got them finishing 8th really. Now 7th, I've gone with my team, Forest. Obviously everyone knows what happened at the club over the summer, with O'Neill getting the sack, Keane leaving, Lamucci being appointed just 18 minutes after O'Neill got the sack, and then all the signings that have come through the door have improved our team in my opinion, and we finished 9th last year, I believe. So this will be an improvement, and we'll see Sabri Lamouchi's first year in English football. That's if he gets given the year to perform. But we've made very good signings in my opinion. Obviously I know a lot about the club and things like that. Thiago Silva, I've watched him in pre-season, very talented player. Alpha Semedo, the exact same. Yuri Ribeiro hasn't really Been involved in many of the friendlies, been sat on the bench. So whether he'll just be a backup to Jack Robinson, who knows. Aaron Muric, the goalkeeper from Manchester City, in my opinion, one of the best goalkeepers in the league, especially at this young age as well. His distribution's on another level. He's a good shot stopper as well. So we'll have a good season. Who else have we brought in? Albert Adoma, very experienced at this level, got promotion with Middlesbrough and Villa over the past so many years. So we've added a good few players to our team, and we're in talks to bring in some more as well. So I think we'll just miss out on the playoffs, but from 10th upwards have got a chance of finishing the playoffs. So Forest have got a chance of finishing the playoffs. Huddersfield, Derby, Middlesbrough all have a chance of finishing in the playoffs as well. I just can't see it happening this year for any of them teams. Now the top 6, you can obviously see it on your screen, top left corner now. I've gone with Brentford 6th, Stoke 5th, Cardiff 4th, West Brom 3rd in the playoffs. Brentford bringing in Janssen, a few lads from abroad, and keeping hold of Mopé, which I think is the best bit of business they've done, keeping hold of him. With the manager they've got, I think they're going to do well. They've always played nice football. Brentford have nice on the eye. It's just away from home they've not really picked up results in recent years. They've been quite good at home. It's just away from home they've struggled with. So I think they're going to do it this year in the playoffs. They're going to get there. Can't see them going up, but they will get to the playoffs this year. Maybe next year they go again and finish higher up after making a few more additions. But like I said, the signing of Janssen and keeping hold of Mopé and a few lads coming from abroad to help them, I think they're going to be good this year. 5th, I've gone for Stoke. Now, Stoke is a very iffy one. Stoke could either finish 13th or 5th, in my opinion. It is that wide open. Last year, they were the favourites by far to win the league because of the signings they made. But then they just flopped throughout the season. It's as simple as that. Now bringing in Nathan Jones at the back end of last season as manager. He's made some Championship-esque signings, in my opinion, players who are at this level. Now, last year, I can't remember who was their manager last year. Pulis, yeah. No, Pulis went to Middlesbrough. Whoever was Stoke's manager last year, can't remember, but they was making signings that... good signings, but not what Stoke needed at this point in time in the Championship to help them get there. A club like Stoke should not be in the Championship, and to get back up to the Premier League, they need to sign players who know the Championship in and out, and they will perform through 46 games all year round. So they just didn't make them signings, and I believe this year they've made a few good signings that have fitted that bill, basically. So I can see them finishing in the playoffs. If they don't, want to surprise me, because they didn't do it last year with this especially talented squad they've got as well. It shocked everyone, really. 4th, I've gone Cardiff, just coming down from the Premier League. Neil Warnock's side, there's nothing else to it. The squad is pretty much the same. Not really lost anyone, not really brought in many players. So Neil Warnock, one of the best managers the Championship has ever seen, in my opinion. What he can do, he grinds out results. Not very nice on the eye to watch, but they'd get the job done. It's as simple as that. So I can see them finishing 4th. Now West Brom, I've put in 3rd. The only thing with West Brom is strikers. I'm pretty sure the only one of the club is Kenneth Zahore, who they signed earlier in the summer. Maybe a few young lads in there, but they lost Rodriguez to Burnley. Solomon Rondon joined Rafa Benitez in China, and obviously Dwight Gale's loan ended and he went back to Newcastle, and they've not really replaced any of them. Kenneth Zahore did okay, not really. Whether at this level we don't know what he's going to be like with West Brom, but I think the manager is a big catch, and this is why I put them 3rd, because Slaven Bilic should not be at this level. Coming from West Ham and the things that happened there with him, he took a bit of time away from football and then got the West Brom job. So don't think he should be at this level at all. But that's why I've put them 3rd, because he's a very, very talented manager, and you're lucky to have him, West Brom fans. And that's why I put you 3rd. Now the top 2 teams to go up, I've got Leeds and Fulham. In my opinion, this is going either way. Fulham can win the league, Leeds can win the league. The only reason I've tipped Leeds to win the league is because they've had that year of having Bielsa in charge. They finished 3rd and obviously got into the playoffs. Now he's had that year, the squad have come closer and things like that. And he is the best manager in the league, in my opinion, without a doubt. So that's why I've gone with them top, especially adding Helder Costa to the team on loan. But I've put Fulham in second, and in my opinion, they have the best team in the league. It's just Scott Parker. If he can't get promoted with that team, he'll never get promoted with anyone, because what a team they have. Their front three is ridiculous. Knockaert, Cavallero and Mitrovic. Sessegnon, obviously, there's still talks he could go to Tottenham. Whether that materialises or not, then if it doesn't, then what a player Sessegnon is at this level. Tom Kearney sat behind them with McDonald and Johansson. They've got a very, very good team. It's just whether Scott Parker can do it or not, and that is the big question. So yeah, on the left hand side of the screen is all my predictions for this year. I'll be back again next year to do the exact same, but subscribe to my channel for more Forest vlogs, Forest content, Championship content and football content in general. Like I said, it would mean a lot to me if you just hit that subscribe button. It costs nothing, it's totally free, and it means a lot to me, and we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers as quick as possible. So yeah, comment your opinions down below. Don't slate me or anything like that. I could be totally wrong, and I'm probably going to be totally wrong because the Championship was very hard to predict, but don't slate me or anything like that. Please just comment your in fact, yeah, you do a 1 to 24 table and you pick your predictions this year. And until next time, see ya.